Hey besties, it's your girl kasthebestie and we're back with another bestie advice session. So I pulled some cards already because I've been trying to do this reading over and over and over again. But before we even get into it, I need you guys to like it up. Like it up. Like it up. Thank you guys so much. So what I was getting was that right now you guys are on a journey, and these are cards that I asked Spirit, what is it that you want my besties to know at this moment? So you guys are on a journey. So make sure you guys are setting your goals, setting your intentions. Make sure that you're understanding which direction that you want to go in. It's like the version of who you were before, you're no longer that version. You're no longer that girl. You're no longer that guy. So it's like, it's time for you to actually trust yourself because you know what steps that you need to take. It's just sometimes it's difficult for you to make those steps because you have so many ideas that you had in the past that keeps you stuck. Let me give you an example, right? When I was growing up, my family has always been Jehovah's Witness, right? But I personally didn't resonate with that. But I always knew that I had a connection with God. When I was like 14 years old, I even went to church by myself. I used to go to this program, the Salvation Army program, right? And I was like, okay, finally, I'm with some people who I believe are, high vibration. And I didn't see it like those weren't the terms I thought of back in the day. But I just thought of it as I'm with people who are just loving and caring and just are good people, right? Until I actually got to see what those people truly were behind closed doors. And I recognized, not everybody who says they believe in God are people of God. Not everybody who prays and people who got everything together. It's not sometimes it's really just a ruse. Sometimes it's just so that people can look like they have things together, or sometimes it's just so that they can be around people so they don't stray off their path. So you have to make sure that you're taking every single thing that you learn and you see with a grain of salt, right? When I was in this scenario, right, I was 14 years old and I met these people. So my first thing was when I was younger, I used to see everybody smoking weed. I used to always see people smoking weed, like even from when I was a young age, because most of the people in my family had smoked weed. So I was like, yeah, when I get older, like when I'm finally old enough, I'm gonna smoke weed too. Like, and when I was with these people, they were telling me like, don't smoke weed. Smoking weed is evil. It's bad. Da 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 da. So they almost convinced me like not to smoke weed because I was like, you know what? You're right. Like maybe I shouldn't be smoking weed. But then one day we went to the movies and we were all just sitting in the movie theaters. And then they were like, oh, we're going outside real quick. While they went outside and they were smoking a blunt. I said, the same weed that you told me was evil, the same weed that you were looking down upon me for, okay, see, no. So it's like at that point I was like, well, I didn't see them I didn't see them as like bad people. I just seen them as people who were liars. I seen them as people who were trying to act like they were on a high horse when they were on the high horse. They literally were the same as me. And I was like, you know what, like as I got older, I was like, you know what, we're like the same. Like, and these people were older than me. Like they was in their 20s, like older 20s. So I don't know how old they were necessarily at the time, but all I know is that eventually, like, I started integrating myself with them and their, family. And I started feeling like, I was one of them. Like, they treated me like a little sister or whatever. Or so I thought. And it was got to a point like, okay, so I ended up stop being in that program because the program, it was fun actually. Like, it was, but it was low-key ghetto because it was like, it was supposed to be church. It was supposed to be like, God. And when I was there, it was just the most ghetto experience. It's like we went to this thing called Vacation Bible School. And at the Vacation Bible School, there was other people from different cities. And those people from the other cities, they were trying to fight us at the Vacation Bible School. I'm like, not on God's land. Like, not in the place God wanted us to be. So I literally thought back, I was like, you know what? Like, this is just not for me. Like, I'm just gonna go do my own thing because at this point, like, this is like, I feel like these people are so judgmental because even when I would go to church, I love to be in the church because we got to sing and I love to sing even though it was like a Spanish church. So I used to have to sing in Spanish, but I learned a lot of Spanish songs in there. And it was just, that was the high vibrational part for me. But then it would be like the pastor, when they would be preaching, they would be like, oh yeah, this family is going through hardships and they need this and they are this, and it's like, oh, you up there telling people's business. It didn't even feel like out of a place of kindness or out of a place of like their heart. It just felt like, truthfully, like they were just talking out of a place of, they needed something to say. They needed something to go based off of so it can resonate with other people, right? So as I ventured off of that, I started living my own life, and eventually, like, we ended up linking back up when I was a little bit older. At this time, like, I was getting to the bread. Like, I was I think I was like 16, 17 years old. I've been working since the day I turned 16. Like, my first job was McDonald's, and I felt like McDonald's was hard. I don't know why. It was like the best thing that I had at McDonald's was dipping those ice cream cones. But after that, I ended up working at this pizza place, and like, I felt like that pizza place was my savior when it came to money, because I was a young girl getting it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a young girl getting to the bread. Like, I would even skip school to go to work for people who were like literally older than me. Like, they would be calling out of work and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go into work. Like, I would be coming home with like $600, because honestly, at that time, it was like I was sick and tired of having to wear hand-me-downs. I was sick and tired of having to get stuff from my older siblings. I was sick and tired of not being able to have new stuff, because I see everybody with new stuff, and I felt like I was the only one who just didn't get new stuff. Like, every year got the same backpack, every year got the same coat. I remember I had the same coat from 4th grade all the way up until 6th grade, and I was like, bro, this is a Tweety Bird coat. Like, come on, they just making fun of me. But it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? Once I get my own money, I'm never gonna ever be in a position where I feel like I have to look like something I don't want to look like. I have to be in clothes I don't want to be in. So once I got to that age when I could get a job, I literally made sure I took care of myself in that way. Like, I would get my clothes, I would get everything, I would get my hair, I would get my nails done. It was like I would make sure that I took care of myself, because I felt like nobody else was putting in that same type of work into me. Like, if I asked for things, people would never get it from me. Like, I'm not saying like they wouldn't get it from me. Like, they would get me anything but what I asked for, and I would be very upset. That made me so upset. And that could be like a thing. It's like, you feel like, sometimes you feel like you don't get what you want, so you feel like you have to go and overexert yourself somewhere else so that you can get what you want. And that's the thing. It's like, when you're living in that lack and that scarcity mindset, it makes you feel like whatever you're doing is just not enough. But I'm here to tell you, at this moment, anything that you do is enough. So these situations, it didn't only lead me into situations like that, right? I was working, I was skipping school. It led to me, like, I was skipping school. So my GPA was extremely low when I graduated. Like, I'm telling you, it was a 1.82. I had like 90 tardies and 120 absences. But this was because I just didn't feel like it was necessary for me to go to school. I felt like I was already living the life of an adult, which really wasn't true, because I was living in a house with my family. My family was making sure I ate, but it was like, other than that, it was like, I felt like I was just doing whatever I had to do or I wanted to do at that time. So I tried to group up with people who I felt like were most like me. So when I ended up in scenarios like that, that's how I ended up running into bad people. That's when I ended up running up. That's why I ended up in scenarios where I was around people who just didn't have my best interests. I remember this one time that I was out hanging out with the girl from the youth group that I was in. She was older than us, but at that time, like, I've always been such a giving person. So whenever I would hang out with her, she would know I would have the weed, I would have the money. So if they wanted to get something to drink, I would always get them something to drink. If they wanted to smoke, I always get them something to smoke. But it was like, I felt like after a while, it was like, dang, this is all y'all want to hang out with me for? But it got to a point where the straw broke the camel's back, was when I actually got into a scenario where one of their friends, which was doing them hard drugs with them hard drugs, they actually I went out with them so that I can go and like get some food because I wanted some food. And the guy, he was telling me like, he was like, oh yeah, he was showing his interest in me. And you know, to me back then, it was just like every other guy showing interest. Like, I'm 17 years old, so, and this man is like probably like 30 years old. So I'm like, sir, I'm just here for the food, right? So after that, I'm like, okay, we get food, we go back to the place. And then after that, I literally was with them, back with them, and they were like, oh yeah, like it was probably like 6 in the morning by that time. So they were like, okay, it's time to go home. And I was like, yeah, I'm going home because I'm tired. This man, he's like, oh yeah, I'll give you a ride. I'm like, okay, you sure? He's like, yeah. This man did not give me a ride home. He did not give me a ride home. You want to know where he took me? He took me to his house. He took me to his house and he assaulted me. And then on the way home, I had to hold his hand and act like I was like, but even though I told him I didn't want to do it, I told him I didn't want him to, I was like, no, 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 don't do it. And he did it anyway. But it was like, I was not raised to have those type of boundaries so that I can be like, oh no, like leave me alone. Like, oh, I'm not going with you. Like, I literally was not raised to have those boundaries because I was so into trying to find people who I felt like would care for me. I wanted to find people who would be there for me. And I ended up getting into situations like that. At that time, I did have a boyfriend. I went and I told my boyfriend this. Well, maybe, was he my boyfriend? Who knows? I think he was just saying that he messed with me. Like, we were low key. But to me, that was my boyfriend. Like, that was my boo thing. Like, I loved that boy at that time. So I went and told him that. He was like, he acted like he was so sad. And like, he was like, acting like he was so concerned. Took me out. We went out to eat or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. The next day, man hit me up and he was just like, yeah, you wanted that to happen. He pretty much was like victim blaming me. And to this day, like, never even apologized for it. And I never asked him for an apology because I never thought that an apology was necessary when it came from things like that. I always felt like when people did things to you, like, nobody ever, I don't know, people in my life just never apologized for the things that they did. And I just always had to get used to it and just move on from it because that's what love was to me back then. So it was like me recognizing the love that I had to gain self-respect. I had to gain love within myself in order for me to actually be able to get to this point today, to be this strong individual, to be this confident in myself, to have boundaries that are not walls, for me to understand that standards are necessary. It took me to go through all of that when people could have literally just had a conversation with me. And that's the reason why I even got into this with you guys, because it's like when you are learning how to let go of who you used to be, it could feel like the biggest issue. It could feel like the biggest problem. It could feel like it's really weighing you down. It makes you feel like you really could be nobody. But if the thing is that that's creating who you are today, even though you had to go through those tough circumstances, even though you had to cry, even though you had pain and nobody was there, even if people were there, they just didn't understand the extent. Sometimes people just don't have the ability to be there for you because they can't be there for themselves. But I'm going to tell you this, right? Because you take the step in the direction, because you start heading on your journey and you decide, okay, this is not the life that I want for me, that is what makes the change. That's what brings the manifestation forth. It wasn't just one day I just became this person. It wasn't that at all. What happened was I had to reach the point where I said, I'm so tired of people trying to treat me like nothing when I know I'm something. It took me understanding that I am beautiful inside and out, and that if I'm going to have the life that I want, I have to make sure that I build myself up from within so that I never have to need somebody to try to prove that to me, to have somebody tell me what I'm worth, what I deserve. It's me having the ability to know that it doesn't matter where I came from. It doesn't matter what I went through. It doesn't matter what I've learned. It doesn't matter what amount of schooling I've been through. I still deserve to have that love that comes from anybody in life, because that's what I give out. I can see if I was giving out negativity, but I'm not. So it was like understanding that the people in my life were just taking the love that I have and not even feeding into me. It's understanding that and not getting bitter about it. It's understanding that now that I'm an adult, that I have the ability to control who comes in and out of my life. Having the ability to say, okay, if this person was around when this happened and they didn't want to show me the love I needed, I don't have to hate them. I don't have to disrespect them. But at the end of the day, I know who you are from the inside out. And who you are might not be a good person, but that's not on me. You have to be able to have that self-respect, that resilience, and have the ability to go off into the world and understand that there's how many billions of people, 8 billion people here on this earth? There's not just the same 20 people that you probably know that are going to be in your life forever. Until you decide that you say, okay, I need a change of scenery, I need a change of people, you're going to continue going through those same cycles. And sometimes life shows you that. You could go through the same cycle over and over and over again until you learn what is going to stop it, what's going to put it on pause so that it doesn't have to repeat. That's why it's saying trust your intuition, because when you trust yourself and not other people, then you can find out what is best for you. Then you can enjoy the parts of you that are so beautiful. You can enjoy the parts of you that make you feel like you're worth being here. You can enjoy the parts of you that were meant to be seen outside, meeting people, meeting new friends, getting into a healthy relationship. These things, they might be rare to some people, but when you have the ability to recognize you would rather be in your own energy than to sacrifice yourself for other people, then it makes you feel completely different about it. When you understand that if I'm going to have to deal with bullshit, or I can deal with happiness on my own and I can enjoy my own energy, I don't need to have other people's energy to make myself feel good, then that's when you can pull yourself out of any type of darkness or feeling that you feel that is putting you down. And these things hidden in plain sight. It's like you would never know this unless you actually took time to be by yourself. It's just like in this picture. She's alone, but she's not alone for real. She got her little iguana on her shoulder. Like, that iguana can really represent anything, but it doesn't have to be another person. When you understand and recognize who you are from within, that's when you start recognizing what you have to offer in this world. You could be the most loving, caring person, but you being around other people will always take from that. You have to know your worth. You have to know what you deserve. I'm not just saying this because I had to go through that. Like honestly, like I've healed from it because I had to. If you don't heal from the things that brought you down, then you will literally be stuck in it forever. You want your heart to be light as a feather. And if you cannot do that around the people who you were with, that means if it's family, friends, even relationships, if you cannot do that around them, you have to move away, because you cannot heal in the same place that broke you. You cannot heal in the same place that was supposed to keep you small. The ship has sailed, and be authentic. When you are trying to overcome things that brought you down in the past, things that you thought that you would be on the ship with. You thought you would be on the ship with these people. You thought you would be on the ship with in that same energy, partying it up, like sipping wine, sipping tea with those same people. But when you actually take the time to be authentic and put that mask down and recognize, wait a minute, maybe those people don't have my best interest. Maybe those people are not here to love me in the same way that I love myself. But there's always going to be people out there who will. But you'll never be able to find them when you're focused on who is not giving you what you're asking for. You have to be the one to give yourself first what you're looking for, so that when you go out looking for what you're asking for, you can immediately tell what it is. If you're looking at somebody else, like say if you wanna meet new friends, but those new friends, they don't, like, you go and meet somebody and then you're talking to that person, and that person, they want to talk about themselves, but when it comes time for you to talk about you, they do not care. Those are the type of people who just want you for an ego boost. And it's like, you have to be able to recognize that, because when you're able to recognize, like, you heal your heart and you know that, okay, I'm putting out this energy, you're not giving me that energy, so that means that something's not equal. That means you got to get rid of it. Got decluttering. That means you have to let go. You have to release it. Don't let things keep you stuck in mindsets that no longer serve you. Because if you do, then you're going to end up just like the people who want you to be down. You know, like, how many times I had to just up and stop being cool with people. And that's not just because I don't want to have friends or I don't want to be around people. It's just that sometimes people don't have the ability to think on the same mindset as you, the same level as you. And it's like, if you don't leave them, you end up sacrificing who you are. It's like you're dimming your own light so that you can be accepted by people who are not even looking to be, who don't care to accept you. It's like you come around and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, this person's here. What are they good for? What are you good for? Absolutely nothing. And that could be them, or it could be you. It's just, you have to know which part of the role you're in. And I know this reading got real deep today. This got real deep. But I felt like it was important for you guys to know this, right? We got big changes in creating progress. It's like, when you take the time to actually separate yourself, you can actually see better. And I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you can see with your own two eyes. Obviously you can see with your own two eyes, but maybe you need glasses. Maybe you need a little bit of contacts. It is the fact that you can actually see what can fit better. It's like, you step aside and you go by yourself and you notice that, when I'm by myself, I don't have to spend so much money on food. Why is that? When I'm by myself, I don't have to be hungover the next day. Why is that? When I'm by myself, I don't have to spend this much money on weed, alcohol. Why is that? When I'm by myself, I don't have to feel like I'm in lack. But when I'm with these people, I get put in lack so that I need these people. It's like those type of conversations that you need to have with yourself. Sometimes you really have to really look into it. What scenarios are people putting you into just so that they can feed their own ego, so they can feed their own vices? Just like that story I was just telling you guys. It's like, if I had the ability to know back then that those people were going to put me in that scenario, yeah, I have to look back and say that was my fault, because I was put in that scenario because I didn't know better. I didn't realize better. And people assumed that I should know better. And really, I just didn't. I was extremely friendly. I would say I'm neurodivergent. Like, and that's another thing, is that I didn't even know it was neurodivergent until this year. My daughter is neurodivergent. But it was me recognizing that me and my daughter had so many of the similar traits to each other. So many of those similar traits. And even then, even without it, like, I've always been like this throughout my whole life. It's just nobody ever seen, because I was a high masking person. Like, I was always high functioning. Like, I can always do things because I had to learn how to do it on my own. And after I learned how to do these things on my own, it was like, at a point in time, I did feel like, well, damn, if I have to do it by my own, then it's like, fuck y'all. It did become like that, because it comes to a point in time where you want to have help sometimes. But once you get to that point where you need help, and then people want to come in and try to put their 2 cents in, that's when the problem starts. And my whole thing was, I started off talking about how my family was Jehovah's Witness, and that didn't resonate with me. But once I got into spirituality, once I became spiritual, I got on a journey with myself. I got on a journey myself and with God. And I was able to learn so much about who I am. I got to learn so much about how my energy works, how I move throughout the world, how people see me, and who I actually am. So that I can actually take advantage of who I am and not let other people take advantage of me. And that's where it gets sticky, because people love when they can take advantage of you, even if they're not doing it on purpose. People love when they can get the long end of the stick just because you will give it to them. That's something that I teach my daughter to this day. Like, because my daughter, it's so funny because the other day we had gone to Dunkin' Donuts. Well, she went to Dunkin' Donuts with one of the girls who I work with, right? And she literally went there and she bought munchkins. And she bought munchkins, well, her money, and then gave them out to everybody. And I said, you don't have to give everybody your stuff. I know you're being nice, but these are adults. These are grown ass people. And I'm like, don't let people do that to you. And don't be so giving. You can give, but not to the detriment of yourself. You can make sure that other people have, but not because you feel like they don't have, because a lot of the times people do have and they don't want to do it for themselves. They rather you do it for them. They rather you get it for them and then they can use your stuff. They rather you buy it instead of them, even though they have their own money. You know how many times that I've helped people out with money and then I turn around the next day, because I only help people out when they really truly need it, right? I remember this one time I helped this person out. I gave them some money. Mind you, I was not in a good predicament myself. I myself was in a shelter and I helped them out. Next day, they're out shopping. I'm like, that's crazy. People will not care about what position you're in as long as they're okay. And it's not to say that I feel any bad feelings towards it. No. These are all things you just have to recognize and pay attention to. Even though you might have a heart of gold, you might be an empath like me. Because I know if you're one of my besties, you're probably an empath. You're probably very, very empathetic. And it's not that you shouldn't be empathetic. It's that you have to know who you should be empathetic towards. You have to know who deserves it, who needs it, and what environments you need to stay around so that it can feed you instead of take from you. Because if you allow it, that good energy that you got within you will be snatched. It will be taken away. It will be put in a place where it's like, where can I find it? Now I gotta be a bitch, or now I gotta be mean, now I gotta be hateful, now I gotta be because of all the things that have happened. And it's like, if you want to end up in this best case scenario, it's like, look at her. You got to put you first. You got to put you first. You have to understand that what direction that you want is the best direction for you. Even if you don't know which way it's necessarily leading you, because it could be leading you somewhere that you don't even know, or it could be leading you to the best days of your life. But when you are focused on other people and what they want, what they need, all that's going to do is put you in their hands. This love that you have for yourself, look at you, my besties. The love that you guys have for yourself, it's for you, so that you can love yourself first, so then you can give the love out to other people after. And you'll be able to understand who deserves it. Your children deserve it. The young kids who come behind you deserve it. Because, there's so many generational curses that need to be broken in this world. So many people come from broken homes. So many people come from broken families. So many people have broken relationships. So many people have toxic relationships. And it's like, when you don't recognize that there's a problem, then the problem will never be solved. But in order for you to recognize a problem, you have to first look in the mirror. Because if you don't look in the mirror, if you want to blame everybody else for your actions, or blame everybody else for everything that's happened to you, then you're going to be stuck in that perpetually. Once you look in the mirror and say, you know what, I have to take some responsibility because I should have never hung out with you. I have to take some responsibility because I should have never been around you. And yes, a lot of these situations you can be the victim, but you can't stay in that forever. It's like you will be in a victim mindset and you will be in that forever waiting for whoever hurt you to apologize, for them to feel sorry for what they did. When it comes down to it, it's that you have to be sorry that those people even have to act like that in order for them to survive. Like, sorry that you can't move on. I'm sorry that you had to do that to me so that I had to feel like this. But I'm not going to accept that. It's like you have to make sure you're changing the perception that you have. Because yes, it's simple to be like, this person did this to me, this person hurt me, they did that to me. You know, I wanted to do that too. I wanted to finally be able to have a moment to sit there and be like, okay, where's my apology? Where's my apology? Where's my apology? But then I said, most of these people, they can't even forgive themselves. So how about I start with forgiving myself first? I forgive myself for allowing myself to be in a position where you ever thought that you can have control over me, whether it's over my body, over my spirit, over my money, over anything. I forgave myself first. And after that, it unlocked a part of me where I was able to be like, well, I forgave myself. And you didn't even try to apologize. So that means that you don't you don't gain access back into my life. That's it. That boundary, after I forgave myself, because I was the one who asked myself for forgiveness, I said, oh, wait a minute. This person never asked me for forgiveness. They never asked me to forgive them. So I don't need to offer it. And even if they did ask for my forgiveness, it's so far at this point that it's like the only reason you're asking for forgiveness is because you need something at this point. So it's understanding that people are going to only do what you allow. So after you understand and you have that new understanding, then you can move forward and you can actually live life differently. You can have different people in your life, people who love you, people who respect you. And you can respect yourself and you can love yourself. It all starts with you. It all starts within. It all starts when you take action. Thank you guys so much. You know, I tell you guys these stories not because these are things that are weighing on my chest. It's that I know that when you speak out, and this is something for you guys, this is very important. When you speak out and you let people understand where you're coming from, they can see you from the correct light. They can see you from the correct perspective because people can only see you as far as you let them see you. And sometimes there's people out there who benefit off of you not speaking up. People benefit from you not speaking your truth. But that's okay because they're not going to benefit for long. Because after you watch this video, now you know. And I need you to say down in the comments below if you feel me. You've been benefiting from me too long. You've been benefiting off of my energy too long. Put it down in the comments. Now you know that anybody who doesn't deserve to be around you, it doesn't matter who they are. It don't matter what title was given to you, to them from my whole heart. If you guys need more clarity, head over to kasthebestie.com and book yourself a fast pass. If you guys need to experience a more in-depth session, book my emergency meeting. If you guys want to get rid of that negative energy and transmute it into something good, I need you guys to order my intention mugs. If you just want to simply get balance in your life, you purchase my book. It's called The High Vibe Survival Guide, A Journey to Balance for Sensitive Souls by yours truly, Kath the Bestie. And Follow me on all my social media platforms, kasthebestie, where I post funny, relatable reels, shorts, TikToks, all of the above. And if you guys want to get one of your questions featured on one of my videos, I need you guys to email me at info@kasthebestie.com. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and I want you guys to have a great day and night if this is when you're watching it. And besides that, we will talk very, 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 very soon.